really excited about the start of the season. Our players are looking forward and opening up on Thursday night. So this is a team that is a young team. It's still searching for an identity, and we're nowhere near where we need to be, and we understand that. And what's going to be key for us is how quickly we can take this young talent, develop it, and with the limited number of seniors that we have, that they can provide the leadership that is necessary for us to take this program and move it forward. You know, each season there are always new challenges and new expectations, and we understand what those challenges and expectations are. The thing we need to do with this football team and what we try to do in the off season through this fall camp is just to teach them how to play, where they have to understand to play with emotion, to focus, to lock in. And once we get this football team settled in, where they understand that it's not their right, they have to understand that they're going to play the way we want them to play. They're going to become us. We're not going to become them. We're going to get this team and we'll move it forward then. But it's special. It's always fun when you open up the season because you really want to see what you have. You want to see now that we've been hitting one another, now we have a chance to go out and to go play against a really good team in Murray State. It's a team that returned 10 starters on offense. The quarterback was Ohio Valley Offensive Player of the Year. They returned 9 starters on defense. Coach Hatcher and I are really good friends. I actually had hired him here as our quarterback coach, and then the Murray State job came open. And just to show what type of person he is, he took the Murray State job because he had some coaches that he had coached with at Southern Miss that was out of a job, so he ended up taking that job. But Hatcher, we go back many years, and he's an outstanding coach. And actually last season, or in the spring of last year, his defensive staff came to visit with our defensive staff. So now it'd be interesting to watch the two defensive players, see how one another plays. But it's going to be a great challenge for us, and we look forward to the challenge.
You said you're eager to see what you have. What do you think you have?
Play hard. I have a football team that, even with the limited number of seniors that we have, Vic Anderson, Chichester, Bellamy, Kessling, Hector Hernandez, all those guys have tried to provide the leadership that we're looking for. And they understand that 25 guys walked out of here last year. Now it's on them to provide the leadership.
So this team will be searching for an identity. In a perfect world, what would your program, what would your team's identity be?
Well, the main thing with any type of identity is you look for, when people watch you play, they say it's a team that plays hard. That's a team that plays together, and that's a team that plays with passion, and a team that plays with energy. We have that. It's just more of now is how quickly can we get that going, and how quickly where our players understand that's the way the game has to be played.
Sounds like you've got a new cornerback potentially. Can you talk about this guy, Adrian Bouchel, how it came about that he's on campus and practicing? That's what I'm saying.
Well, Bouchel was at University of Florida, then he left the University of Florida, went to a community college, and he just finished up his coursework. He's only been here 2 days, so he's trying to get himself worked into shape, and then see if how quickly he can learn the defense and he can contribute to our team.
Charlie, is Murray's offense almost like a 2-minute offense? Is it kind of a hurry-up attack?
It's a wide open hurry-up attack. You know, it's similar to when you look at Hatcher, where he's been. He was with Hal Mummy when he was at Kentucky, and how wide open that offense was at that time. And then he went to Valdosta, but it's a wide open offense. They like to throw the football, but they're going to mix in the run some. But they throw a lot of balls now. This game may last forever now.
Can you evaluate their? Oops.
No, go ahead, Paul.
Can you just sort of evaluate their skill level? I mean, people say 1AA, 1A, but how they stack up?
Well, if you look at it, their top 4 receivers from last season are gone. They returned their freshmen who ended up with 62 catches. All 5 of their offensive linemen are back. And their skill, they can run because they're going to get some really good skill. And then you look at them on defense, the secondary's back. They lost their backers inside, and then they end up playing like 8 defensive linemen that was in the rotation. And when you look at them, it was a team similar to us last season that was picked to finish very low in their conference, end up going 6-5. So he's a really good football coach with an outstanding staff, and you can just watch them on tape and watch the quarterback, who was a walk-on, and end up being an offensive player of the year in that conference.
Talked about, they like to throw the ball all over the place. Your young cornerbacks, how they've been progressing, and how anxious are you to see how they respond? Because I imagine they'll probably get tested a little bit.
Oh, they're going to get tested, and that's why I say it's so anxious to get out there on the field and just see how we're going to play and how we're going to react, because the ball is going to be thrown, and they're going to get challenged. And you look at our defensive back with Connor, with Andrew Johnson, with Titus T. You know, you have some young guys who hasn't played at all. So now the challenge is going to be in the secondary, and we're a pressure team. Our team, we love the pressure. Now, can we hold up and can we go cover against a good throwing team?
How can the experience of your safeties help the young corners? What can you do scheme-wise to take their talents and kind of help out there?
Oh, we'll use the scheme-wise. We'll get the safeties involved. You know, you're looking at two safeties with Shenard Holden and Akeem Smith that has played a lot and was starters for us last year. So with those two guys back there, you always want to have a guy in the middle of the field, because we're a team that always want to close off the middle of the field in case a big play does happen. We can get the guy on the ground and then go play the next play. But it's just going to be critical that the whole secondary plays together, and even with the front, getting the pressure that we need, and the linebackers, the people getting in the right spots and being where they need to be.
With this many passing going on, do you keep with your base? Do you bring in an extra DB? I mean, what do you expect to happen?
Oh, but our base is, it's all about this formation personnel. We're personnel driven on defense. So whatever they give us, where they start off with 4 wides, you're going to have to go with an extra defensive back, which is our nickel package. But that's something that that's who we are on third down.
Joe, what did you like about what you saw out of Stein in camp, and where are you in the quarterback situation?
Stein, you look at all three of those quarterbacks with Stein, with Bridgewater, with Dominique Brown. All three of them had really good camps. And the thing with Stein is he's a fighter. He's a winner. He wanted Trinity, and he has that something about him. He has that it where the guys, he may be small in stature, but he has a lot of confidence, and he plays with a lot of confidence. And then with Teddy Bridgewater, he's a very talented quarterback himself. So it's going to be, all three of those guys are going to get a chance to play, and so we're going to put them out there and watch them play and watch them see if they can manage the offense and not turn that ball over and get us in the right plays and move the ball down the field.
All three are going to play against Murray?
All three of those guys will play against Murray.
And will Will start?
Will Stein will start.
Do you foresee a time to where Teddy's on the field but not playing quarterback at all during the game?
On the field but not playing quarterback.
If Stein's a quarterback, or Teddy, you want to use his athletic ability, he may be in the backfield or something. Is there any package where he's on the field and not the quarterback?
No, he's the quarterback. He will not be out there as a receiver, a DB, or something like that. No.
How much do you anticipate Calvin Pryor being able to get some steps?
Calvin Pryor's had an outstanding camp. He will play. Calvin Pryor played. How much, I don't know that, but he'll get a chance to get on the field.
You say that they use Brown. I mean, as a quarterback, are you comfortable with him throwing the ball, or is he pretty much a wildcat kind of guy? I mean,
Dominique Brown as any quarterback, you always look to year 2, and he's improved from year 1 to year 2, can throw the football, and whatever the play, he has to manage the offense. So if he has to throw the ball, he's going to throw the football. If he runs it, then he's going to run it. But he can manage the offense, and I feel comfortable with him throwing the ball. He only threw one pass last year, and it was the wrong one, huh?
How worried are you about the youth factor? I mean, how much does that concern you?
I guess when you look at the youth, and if you're talented at that, with the youth that you have, you don't get so much concern. My biggest concern, and the youth plays into it, is just the leadership. And just, where's it going to come from? If something happens, this may be one of those years where it's going to be a roller coaster. One week we're up, next week we're down. How quickly can we get it managed, and how quickly can we just stay at even kill and play at even kill? But that's always a concern, just because of, where's the leadership going to come from? Quarterback position, you're looking at a player who's 3 guys never started that position. And that's one that, is often criticized and often glorified. So it's got on defense, you look at Greg Scruggs on defense as a guy who's played a lot for you. Can Greg Scruggs lead that defense? Can Dexter Heeman, he's in the middle of your defense. You look at a guy who's in the middle of your defense, can he maintain the leadership that you need? And if something bad happens, can they just forget about what happened and come together and go play the next play?
What about offensively?
When you look at offense, you got to look at the quarterback position. Then you look at the wide receiver. There's Josh Chester, tight end. There's Bellamy on the outside, guys that have played. So now how quickly, if something goes bad, can we get those guys together and, hey, don't worry about it, let's go play the next play. And that has to come from the coaching staff too. You just can't harp on, because you have a young football team. Some things are going to go bad. So now how quickly can we get them to forget it and get them together, and let's continue on, guys. We still have to go finish this football game and go play this game.
You got 20-something freshmen or redshirt freshmen on that depth chart. How many of those guys do you expect to see Thursday?
Oh, it's so hard to say how many of those guys are going to play. We expect to play some of them. How many, I do not know.
Now, how healthy are you coming out of camp? I know Mario has been banged up a little bit. How's he? And is everybody, all your regulars, pretty much in good shape?
Well, the guys that won't play in this game will be Mario. He will not play. B.J. Butler will not play in this game. Corbin Lamb has a issue. He will not play. But we have some guys, those three guys for sure. Jalen Harrington's another one. They won't play. But we have guys that are banged up, but if we need to play them, we're going to play them. But those four.
5 new starters coming into the season. What does that mean for you?
Well, we're breaking in 5 new starters. You're right, and it's you look at it, Cupper, Kessling, and Hernandez, all three have played. So now you're taking a young guy, Miller, and then Jake Smith, 2 guys inside the guard position that have not played. So then you're looking at those young guys. And the offensive line, Coach Borbs has done a good job of, and what has been great is not so much great because you don't ever want to see an injury happen to anyone, that with Mario getting hurt so early in the camp, we were able to get that offensive line and piece it together and get the 5 guys out there that we needed to get out there.
Charlie. Cupper, Kessling, Miller, and Hernandez.
And Jake Smith.
Excuse me.
Jake Smith.
Smith.
Yes. Those are the 5.
Are they going to start?
Those would be the 5 starters, sir.
So Cupper will be at center.
Cupper will be at center. Jake Smith and Miller will be your 2 guards. Kessling and Hernandez will be the tackles.
Hernandez on the left.
Hernandez is on the left. Kessling's on the right.
How long do you think Mario will be able to play?
I cannot answer that, but not exactly for sure. He has an ankle injury, so it's day to day. So we're just going to slowly work him into it and then get him back when we really need him.
Hernandez is somebody, I remember the term last year y'all called Rodney Big Pretty because he looked the world, but he hadn't played it up to that point. Hernandez, to me, seems like he might fit in that same category. I mean,
Well, I would say this about Hernandez, young man that has come a million miles. He was one of those guys when I came here, didn't do anything academically, and then that was in the fall. Then the spring, he ends up with a 3.5 GPA. So here's a guy that goes from practically a 1.0 to a 3.5, just maturity level. So now he's a guy that's matured a lot, and a guy that he's going to be a young man that is going to develop, who has developed himself, and is really going to help this football team.
Charlie, you talk about leadership. How will you know the leader of this program when you see it? What are you looking for?
It's more of who can inspire, who can influence, who can get guys, who can actually, when it's time to go play, who can go lead this football team and go play the way they're capable of playing and playing up to their abilities so that other young guys can follow them and say, like a Greg Scruggs, you know what, Scruggs is really playing well. Now can I get some young guys to say, okay, now watch how Greg Scruggs is playing. That's the way I want you guys to play. Or it may be Chichester, it may be Vic Anderson, where Vic Anderson's had a great spring. He has had a great fall camp. He's a young man right there that's really done a lot, from a year ago to now. Vic Anderson has really shown that he can go be a leader of this program.
Charlie, you said you hadn't read of course you weren't going to read the Yahoo article. Are you aware of the specific accusations against Clint Hurtt, specifically?
No, I'm not aware. And what I've tried to do and what we try to focus on is just this football team, because I don't want to see anything happen in any program, but I just know this, that we have to take care of our program here, and whatever with Clint, with his situation is that and I try to tell him, look, just focus on right here, and until it's an NCAA investigation, until they come in, and we don't know ourselves what is really everything you're doing is just been read in the paper or what's been said on the internet. But our main focus is our football team here and our football program here.
Are there any eligibility worries at all? Some of the players, Teddy specifically was mentioned in the article. Are there any issues about playing any of the players?
No, I don't. I mean, I just said what I'm saying. We're going to run a clean program here, and that's not going to happen within our program. So those guys would tat in. I don't know why that would ever become an issue.
Have there been any distractions because of this in regards to the football team?
No, it's nothing has ever been said, and that's the thing. As long as you don't talk about it, we don't talk about it, then we just move on. Because our focus, we got to get this program going, and we have to take care of our program. And you look at a program 3 years ago, and now you go to a bowl game last year. We have a young team, so it's more of just directing all of our attention to this football program here, what we had to get done.
Did you say there's been no contact by the NCAA?
Zero, yes.
It's ongoing. Are all of his duties still the same as they were before the report came out?
His duties are the same, has not changed at all, and they will not change.
Anything else for Coach?
All right, thanks, guys.
We'll stop here in a second.